Chenpi is known as one of the three treasures of Guangzhou. It has a warm, gentle character with a slightly bitter taste. In southern China, people use it both as a traditional remedy and as a daily ingredient in cooking and tea. There is an old saying in China, an ounce of Chenpi is worth an ounce of gold, and 100-year Chenpi is worth more than gold. Of course, that's a bit of poetic exaggeration, but it shows how highly people value this humble dried tangerine peel. When people in Guangzhou talk about their three treasures, they're not just talking about something expensive or rare. They mean ingredients that are closely tied to everyday life, to comfort, to home cooking, and to their idea of taking care of the body. For many families, a jar of Chenpi in the kitchen is something that quietly gets refilled from one generation to the next. In this video, we'll take you behind the scenes to see how real Chenpi is born from fresh fruit in the orchards of Xinhui, Guangzhou. To understand Chenpi better, we're visiting the family of Uncle Huang, a grower with many years of experience cultivating citrus trees. "3 years ago, he planted dozens of young tangerine saplings here in this field. He still remembers how thin and fragile they looked when they first went into the ground. This year, they are finally strong enough to give him his very first harvest from this orchard. For a farmer, that first harvest is a special moment and the result of years of work that most people never see. From the outside, we only notice the bright fruit hanging on the trees. But behind every fruit is careful planning, constant care, and a lot of patience. As we walk into the orchard, you can see row after row of tangerine trees stretching into the distance. The ground is slightly damp from recent rain, and the air is filled with a light citrus fragrance. The fruit glows orange against the dark green leaves, almost like small lanterns hanging in the branches. Uncle Huang tells us that these trees have now lived through 3 full cycles of seasons. They have survived heavy summer rains, strong winds, and winter chills. Each year, the roots dig a little deeper into the soil, and the branches grow thicker and stronger. Now it's finally time for the trees to give something back. Uncle Huang doesn't just grab the fruit and twist it off. The way you pick the fruit matters a lot, especially when it is destined to become Chenpi. The correct way is to use a pair of sharp scissors or pruning shears. He carefully clips the stem instead of pulling the fruit by hand. This looks slow, but it protects both the branch and the fruit. If you twist or yank the tangerine from the branch, you can tear the skin or damage the tree. Over time, rough handling can reduce the health of the tree and affect future harvests. Using scissors also helps keep the fruit looking complete and clean. That's important because later the peel will be sold and judged by its appearance, aroma, and age. There's another small but important detail that Uncle Huang pays attention to. He always leaves a tiny bit of the stem attached to the fruit instead of cutting it completely flush with the skin. Why does this matter? Because Chenpi made from fruit without any stem can easily be misunderstood in the market. People may think it was made from fruit that fell on the ground or from damaged or diseased tangerines picked up later. In the Chenpi trade, that kind of doubt can greatly reduce the value of the peel. Keeping a short piece of stem is a simple way to show respect for quality and to give buyers confidence in the product. Later, when these fruits are peeled and dried, experienced buyers can tell a lot just by looking at them. They look at the thickness of the peel, the color, the aroma, and even that tiny piece of stem. China has many regions that produce dried citrus peel, and you can find Chenpi being made in different provinces. But among all these places, Xinhui is the most famous name. Xinhui Chenpi has almost become a brand of its own. Collectors and tea drinkers look for it specifically because they believe the local soil, water, and climate give the peel a unique character. Over time, local farmers have developed their own experience about which hillsides, riverbanks, and patches of land produce the best fruit for Chenpi. But when it comes to high-end aged tangerine peel, Xinhui has a special place in people's minds. To get healthy, perfect peel, the work starts long before harvest day. It begins when the trees are still tiny seedlings in the nursery. From the moment each young tree is planted, Uncle Huang and his family begin a long routine of care. They fertilize the soil at the right times and make sure the trees get enough water. They loosen the soil around the roots so they can breathe and grow more easily. They also protect the orchard from pests and disease throughout the year. In spring, they check new shoots and remove weak or crowded branches. In summer, they guard the trees against insects, heat, and heavy rainstorms. In autumn, they carefully watch the fruit as it changes color and slowly ripens. In winter, they help the trees rest and gather strength for the next growing season. None of this work is glamorous. Most of it happens early in the morning or under the hot sun when no one else is around. There are no crowds, no cameras, and no applause. Just one family quietly looking after their trees season after season. If you look closely at the leaves, you can see the signs of that careful attention. The foliage is thick and a healthy deep green. The fruit is evenly sized and brightly colored, without many scars or spots. Uncle Huang picks up one tangerine and weighs it gently in his hand. He explains that good fruit for Chenpi should feel firm, but not rock hard and heavy for its size. It should also have a fresh, clean fragrance when you bring it close to your nose. All of this is the foundation for good Chenpi. If the fruit is unhealthy or poorly grown, no amount of drying or aging later can turn it into a premium product. So when you hold a piece of Chenpi in your hand, you're not just holding dry peel. You're holding years of sunshine, rain, and soil and the daily work of farmers like Uncle Huang. You're also holding a small piece of local culture passed down quietly through families in this region. People here have been making and using Chenpi for generations. Recipe and habits are handed down at the dinner table or during simple moments of sharing tea. After harvest, these fresh tangerines will be peeled by hand. The skins will be spread out to dry in the sun and turned regularly so they dry evenly. Later they will be stored carefully for many years of aging. But every story of Chenpi starts here in the orchard with a farmer, a pair of scissors, and the patience to wait for the right moment to pick the fruit.